Hey guys, I wanted to do a quick video describing how I did my front fender delete because this is something that a lot of guys have done in the past, and everyone does it a little bit differently. From what I've seen, once you have done it and you see what other people do, you're like, oh, that looks a little different from how I did it. This person decided to go this way. Other people just have no idea how to do it, because it's a little bit more involved than you would think, but it's not that bad. So basically, for context, this still has paint on it, but this machine basically comes ready for race cut fenders. You can go, basically it has a very large front fender that wraps all the way around, wraps around the grille, the headlight, and then it just has this smaller hood fender that just sits up on top of the tank, which you've seen in all of my other videos. A lot of guys, because the front fender doesn't really do you any good, it generates a lot of noise at high speeds, and it doesn't really protect you from the mud very well, especially when you have a long travel kit like this. And it just makes the machine look very large and very bulky. It prevents you from being able to see your front suspension very well. And it just doesn't do the machine any good. And it doesn't look good, in my opinion. So a lot of guys cut it off. Here's how I did it. So first of all, first issue is with the headlight. So we have our two M6 or M8 bolts bolting the top of the headlight right to the frame of the machine. That, I believe, is unchanged. And then down here, normally the front fender comes in and wraps around like that and then secures to the frame. Once that is gone, basically the front the grill is just sitting flapping around. So some guys, what I've seen they do is they cut it, and that completely changes the look of the machine. That makes it look very much more like the rest of the TRXs. However, I felt that was gonna expose my rad a little bit too much, so I opted out of that. And what I did, this didn't require any welding. This is part of an old cheap fence that I had laying around as stock. But basically it's like 1/2 inch by 1/2 inch, very thin walled, very crappy cheap metal. I don't even know what kind of metal it is. But basically, I took a part of it and I dremeled out, although you could also use a drill and a hacksaw, but I cut out a hole in it large enough for this bottom tab of the grill section to sit in. Then I bent over 2 tabs and then ran M6 bolts through the nuts on the frame and then right into the little piece of fence here, and that has held up. I think I did this 2 years ago, and it's held up very well. I have had 0 issues with it whatsoever. You just got to get the length right, really. So that has secured my grill. The other issue, though, is that the stock frame, I believe right here or something, somewhere around here, will have a little bracket. It's actually not a little bracket. It's a pretty heavy duty bracket that comes out and comes down and kind of points out like this. And it has it on each side. And those are just waiting to impale your knees. And it doesn't look good. I ran them for like a season. Didn't have any issues, but it just doesn't look good. And I decided, I went to my mechanic, who's a pretty decent welder. And I had him cut that off. And then we took the steel wire that we had from removing our foot baskets, and we were able to use that, as well as even the OEM tabs that we had cut off the machine. And we welded them up so that now the front of the hood fender is secured. Because normally the hood secures to the main fender here and here, and so when you take the main fender off, the only thing that it's secured to is the bolts on the tank, and it lifts up whenever you go more than like 10 miles an hour. So Now we have these brackets holding here and here, and we've only lost 2 mounting points, which really is kind of a non-factor. And then additionally in here we cut off a lot of meat here, as well as no, not there, but just around. If you have an OEM one that you're looking at, we've cut off a lot of that. We cut off the tabs on the back of this that normally hook in to the fender, and we cut off the tabs here as well that hook into the fender. And I also cut off the hooks on the bottom that typically slot into here, although that was more because of my oversized tank, kind of caused some fitment issues. But yeah, so it's pretty simple to do this. And then while we were at it, because I also deleted my foot baskets, I believe, yeah, we also took some wire, some of the same wire from the foot basket and some of the same brackets from the foot basket, and made up little mounts that just screw right in to the frame, and there you go. Now the fender is wicked solid, and the one up front is also very solid. And if you didn't know it, you would think that these are all OEM mounting points and that this is how it comes. You do need to be moderately competent as a welder, or you need to have access to a moderately competent welder, but it's a very quick job. It literally, you don't need any materials for it, is what I'm saying, other than that little bracket, which you could even do without. But yeah, if anybody has any questions, I don't know if anybody's even still working on these machines like this in 2024. I mean, these things are like 16 years old now or something. But if anybody out there is still wondering how to do it, or if they just see it, if they don't even own a 700XX and you've just been wondering how to do it. Also, got a little clutch cover work I'm doing. I'm actually going with a two-tone. It's black on the bottom, bare in the middle, and then black on the top. And then the Honda logo is going to be a hopefully red. Hopefully I'm going to just hit that with the disc sander real quick and just knock those letters off, and or knock that color off and just leave the letters exposed. So that's how it's going. Hit me up with any questions. Have a good one.